Good evening, innovators. It's been a while. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope everyone's had a lovely weekend. More importantly, hope you guys are having a good week so far as well. So, we are back in action. Back to doing frequent crypto updates, Forex videos, hot picks on crypto and YouTube as well. As we confirmed on our community post earlier, no, we have not died. No, we have not gone into hiding. Personally, after we made that video saying we were wrong, where technically we weren't that wrong because we did cover in prior videos given to you guys that BTC could actually go a little bit higher. We were expecting a lower high to be created to inevitably lead to much further downside to follow. Now, that obviously didn't work out. We went and made a video on that. However, there was a lot of hate, a lot of trolls, and the crypto space for me personally is a horrible, horrible space. And I like to be clear, full of clarity at all times. And personally, there was just so much hate and so much just horrible things being said. I was just like, do you know what? It's not even worth my time, wasting my effort to go out and make videos. But we've had a lot of requests from a lot of people, and I think I just put too much fixation on the negativity and not, didn't consider that a lot of people do value what we do. So for that reason, we are back. I do apologize for slowing down. However, a lot has gone on behind the scenes as well. We have a new on-chain metrics document that I've created. We have a new profit-taking guide document that's been created as well, which essentially goes off the XRP play over here, just breaking down a full guide to cryptocurrency profit-taking. So we have been very busy in the background, and we've been better utilizing that time to provide new updates for members and stuff as well. However, in this update, what we're going to be covering is going over the XRP situation, showing you guys what we have done since the last video, because as promised, we were going to be updating this XRP journey every step of the way. And the funny part is we've done absolutely nothing, which is actually what I want to be covering in this video as a main priority as well. But it's very important to realize, what I do here, and the reason being, and kind of the purpose behind the analysis given, is to do something very different to what you see out there. There is no picture of me on the thumbnail screaming with explosions and rocket ships and Dogecoin flying everywhere. No, we're here to provide a level-headed and rational approach to analysis, which you're not really going to get elsewhere, to be honest with you, because all you need to do is type in crypto on YouTube and you will pretty much see the difference quite quickly in what we do over here. Now, from our last analysis, obviously we have seen the high taken out. Now, what we are here to do in this particular video as well is show you why this doesn't necessarily mean too much at this present point in time. And judging from how BTC is currently moving, this is something that was given to the members a while back. First and foremost, we covered this drop ahead of time towards this territory over here. We were expecting the $60,000 region to be broken. We gave this to the members, and we even gave the $54,000 to $53,500 region as well, which has now rejected beautifully as expected. However, it has created a rather interesting scenario for BTC because Ether has, for some miracle and whatever reason, outperformed today and driven up much higher than anticipated. However, we're going to get into this as well. And the reason being behind all of this, on top of everything else, is to get you guys in a very calm, collective state to view the market from a bit more of a higher time frame perspective. Now, first and foremost, the monthly candles are closing in 6 hours and 37 minutes, which could absolutely shift how this market operates. Now, the first thing we're going to do is strip this chart clean and look at this market overall from what we're currently seeing. Now, we expected this when we actually got the lower high invalidated. Naturally, we were going to expect to push higher. And this is what investing and trading is all about. We are not here to be right or wrong. We're here to make money. And when it didn't work out, the first thing people said was, wrecked. Anyone that followed you is wrecked. Well, no, because we haven't sold anything. We haven't changed anything. And this is what I wanted to show you guys as well. The art of taking profits allows you to just sit back and do absolutely nothing until the market provides better opportunities. So we've taken a bit of profit off some altcoins, which we've been adding to the what was $200,000 in profit is now $232,000 profit. We've been taking little bits of profit here and there. I just took some profit off BAT yesterday as well, which I'll be showing you guys shortly. But overall, I have not touched this. I've just left it. And this is the beauty of taking profits, which we'll be covering in more depth later as well. But the key element of all of this is this has not been touched, and we do not need to until the market provides the next movement. What you often see is everyone's going crazy right now. We'll get to the dominance in a second as well, but XRP is an example. At the moment, guys, personally, I know I'm too scared to even call downsides these days, because you say anything about downside, people go crazy. But the brutal truth is, if we go to the current XRP play and just run over this one more time. Now, just to clarify, because I know a few people were going, well, hold on, you've got some buys here at the top. What on earth have you been doing, you wild boy? And this was a $1,600 XRP giveaway that you guys were aware of. Just to clarify, I did not buy the top. And this over here was $11. I don't remember what I purchased with $11, but yeah, $11 worth of XRP was purchased. But if we go back, and this is something that's covered in the profit taking guide as well, in the bear market of 2018, when we had one of the final pumps coming into play before we trickled down to the very, very lows, I took an additional almost $17,000 profit off the table. And I actually took this off the table in 2018 ahead of time, in preparation to buy that dip one more time. And the reason why I'd done this was to showcase this journey. I actually took this profit out purely for that purpose. And I had to wait almost 2 years to reinvest this capital. And in that process, that $17,000 with 2 investments ended up going towards around $34,000 at that 16 cents price on XRP. And that was a collective of additional profits taken out along the way in anticipation to accumulate. Now, rule number 1, my favorite coin is XRP. It's what I believe has the most future value and the most future promise. And what we are seeing in this present point in time is not even really a utility run, in my opinion. This is just shitcoin galore, meme coins, Dogecoin, Shiba, all of this stuff people are going crazy about. I have no interest in participating in. And what my goal here is, with all of these other altcoins I hold, I am looking to take profits out of these coins and put them all into XRP. That's my overall goal, to continue growing these holdings. So when we initially invested back here, we took the profit, reinvested, took a bit more profit, scaled out for the final time around this area over here, which you can actually see with my trades. And it doesn't actually show them all on this section over here, but you can see we took a bit of profit over here as well. For 50K, we took a little bit of profit for $700 there. But overall, throughout this journey in particular, before we saw the SEC fiasco unfold, we scaled the hell out quite significantly. And from this point in time, the last real sell being at around $1.25 or so, because price is situated within this region, I have no interest in taking profits off the table now, because price is not high enough. And this is why I've taken profits along the way, because everyone's talking about alt season, and we have to remember here the goal is to do the opposite of the majority. When we sold here, they then cried when it crashed and we bought the dip, because they said, no, this was the SEC, it wasn't you. Correct, it was technical analysis that led to this. You have to remember, the charts show you everything. The charts tell you exactly what's going to happen next ahead of fundamental news, because what happens is price is manipulated. This entire market is unbelievably controlled. Every single movement you see is orchestrated. It is a large collection of entities that are responsible for all financial market manipulation. And then once you see a movement come through, they blame it on China, they blame it on India, they blame it on the SEC, but in reality, it's all premeditated. So we understood with this rally, and going back to XRP quickly, something interesting I noticed if I go to the monthly chart, and this is why I'm actually starting to think XRP could be on its way to start bottoming out soon, along with most of the market. Now, everyone's saying parabolic runs, this, that. I have a good feeling at the moment altcoins may be taking a slight dip before we see any form of continuation higher. The reason being for that is from where we bought in March 2020. Now, XRP has not gone back to all-time highs, and everyone's crying, it hasn't gone up, it hasn't gone up. Well, actually, if you look at the exact level it reversed from up to the yearly highs, it has almost done the exact same percentage return as BTC. XRP from the March 2020 lows up to the present highs of April 2021, XRP has done around 1,619% ROI from that bottom. BTC, from that bottom in March 2020, sorry, that's LTC. BTC from that March 2020 low up to the present day highs has done around 1,620% or 1,623 approximately. Now, if you take that into consideration, people are so blinded by the prices that BTC has achieved, they're not taking into consideration you've actually achieved, if you bought at these levels as well, it has done the same percentage movement. So in a way, this could potentially be the current top for XRP in this cycle. And this is why I've taken profits out in anticipation, because at the moment it looks absolutely horrific. And this 200k that's sitting here on standby, wherever that 200k has gone, that $232,000 is left there in anticipation for the worst case scenario, which is the message we've been trying to portray. And with BTC as well in particular, the monthly time frame will be closing in 6.5 hours. Now you need to understand, despite the fact it's taken out the highs, the candle bodies are remaining within this territory. So this is something I covered. We can take out those highs, but unless those candle bodies close above, it does not mean we are in a bull run. We are technically still in the bull run, but what this could be insinuating is we could now be in the phases of a bear market coming into play. And all it means is we needed that FOMO. I covered this in prior videos. The main reason why I believe a sudden shock could be coming into the market is due to, number one, the futures. We've got the regulatory side, but also how many positions are leveraged in this market right now. You need to realize that the majority of people are just expecting this market to go up forever. And despite the fact it has gone higher, that doesn't bother me, because if it does go even higher, XRP as an example, or altcoins, I would take more profits off, as I done with BAT yesterday. A little bit of profit off the table on BAT. Where has that gone? And that is already paying off at the moment, to be honest with you. Got out at around 1.64, and at the moment this is dropping quite nicely. Now what I personally think with BAT is this could actually come all the way back down to 60 cents, and I'll be looking to reinvest some of that capital back in there as well. Now one thing with the members, with me, I'm a very simplistic person. I like to only cover BTCF, XRP, LTC in particular. However, the members hold an abundance of different coins. I hold a few altcoins myself as well. So I actually cover almost 50 pairs in every single breakdown now, and it can take a very long time, you know, an hour, 2 hours for most of the outlooks at the moment. However, it gives me a better understanding of what could be happening next in the market, and seeing some of these coins come into the highs is just another sign to take some profit off the table. You know, it's all about being patient, all about not being greedy, and when the money's there, you take it. Because another good example here is, in the worst case scenario, this goes lower. First and foremost, because of where XRP is trading, it's now worth $185,000 because it's pretty much at $1. What that means is now the profit I've taken out of XRP is higher than my current holdings, which is the goal and what you want to be doing in a situation where the market may inevitably turn against you. So it's all about patience, and it's a waiting game over here. But what people are not really realizing at the moment is, number one, there could be a huge head and shoulders forming here. We had the head and shoulders over here originally. We actually tried to catch that short. I cannot believe I got stopped out just around here before it dumped down to the 30k region. But what you could be seeing here is a shoulder. First of all, you've got a collective of head and shoulders on a daily time frame over here. Shoulder, head, shoulder, shoulder, head, shoulder, even miniature head and shoulders over here. But this could be building up for a much larger head and shoulders here, where you've got the shoulder, head, and a potential shoulder over here. And at the moment, I'm currently looking at BTC potentially coming back down towards that 44 to 40k region, which would be a huge wipeout. And the reason being for that is, number one, we're back below that psychological $60,000 level, which everyone is inevitably looking out for as a key telltale sign. We had that initial drive above, we drove up again. All we are doing at the moment is manipulating these buyers out of the market and also getting those sellers out of the market. We are seeing liquidations from both sides, where sellers are being wiped out and buyers are being wiped out in the process. And now that we are around these levels, a lot of people are obviously very, very scared of what could be happening next. Now, I'm a bit cautious because I have been expecting BTC to at least come back to around here and just fulfill another head and shoulders formation. But at this present point in time, because we've seen Ethereum push up into this level, and I want to go to the daily quickly as well and show you something. So I actually covered this live just before we recorded this video. I've done an hour-long crypto flow for the members following a 2-hour crypto weekly outlook yesterday. And the reason being for that is, with Ethereum coming into such crucial territory, it has just rejected that 78.6%. And what this means is, I gave a target to the members, all these threatening warning signs of a potential downside wipeout before we do potentially see another climb higher. So what I'm trying to say is, It doesn't mean there's a bear market right now, but what it does mean is if we see a breakout even lower, we are seeing potential telltale signs that 2022 could be rather horrific for this market. And you have to remember, at the moment, what's scaring me is the fear and greed index is currently at fear. Now, normally we get a big push of extreme greed, because if we stay in a fearful phase for too long, then people start to anticipate what could be a potential rollover and they may take profits. We know the majority of people lose. So what's interesting is we haven't really seen the real shakeout, and we have seen a pretty perfect double top at the moment forming around this level over here, which is leaving me skeptical, because something we've said with the members as well is sometimes it does just happen perfectly. This market is out there to trick you, so you need to be thinking, how could you potentially be tricked in this scenario? Now, obviously we were expecting as well, we have mapped out a possibility here to see like 72,000 up to maybe $76,000. However, I do feel potential shakeout down could be coming through. And with this current Fibonacci sequence, even in its present stage, it leads us precisely towards the targets that have been given to the members as well. So at this very present point in time, my biggest cause of concern is this level over here now being respected to cause a sudden shakeout? Because with this monthly candle closure that's coming into play, first of all, you need to understand we haven't breached this territory. And this is why I tell people, when we broke these all-time highs, the members were being updated, but obviously I took a step back from going public. Just because you're watching these daily or 4-hour candles pushing above, they are out there to trap you. And that's why I focus on the weekly and monthly and just sit back and wait and see what happens next, because then I know more clearly what could be unfolding. And if we obviously see a bearish closer down here, that's now 2 wicks. All of this price action where people are seeing all-time high breaks, they are leaving wicks instead on the higher time frames, which is where people forget to look. And if we see a bearish closure on this monthly, we may see another drive higher into that 72k region if necessary, but none of that really matters, because as long as candles do not close on a higher time frame like the weekly or monthly above this level, this market is slowly but surely slowing down. And we can see that now with the threatening warnings growing even more for the regulatory side of things. Tether, let's not get into Tether again. I hope everyone's read my BTC and Tether document. We've seen the situation with El Salvador, where they've got this massive Ponzi scheme going on with Blockstream and Tether. And if you've read the BTC document, you will know all about Tether and Blockstream and how they have a significant role in manipulating this market and also have significant ties to the elite. So if you've read the BTC document, you would probably understand what's going on right now. There's a severe amount of concerns in the market, and I think it's very important people are cautious of their investments in this point in time. Just because you think it's going to go higher, same way I think eventually we'll go back down to 10k, 6k. I haven't actually changed that perspective, but that would obviously be in a bear market situation. But what you need to understand is all of this price action at the moment, the longer we've been holding around this all-time high territory, the more long positions that are being accumulated by leverage traders. Now, there's not a lot of room down here and support down to this 40k region, which is concerning me because a lot of people are accumulating around here, and it's frequently being shown that every time we push a bit lower, there's billions in liquidation. So we need to understand below all of these levels are a significant amount of stop losses, and the longer we stay in this territory, the quicker we wipe down or any form of significant move to the downside will be triggering a series of liquidations, which will be bringing price significantly lower as a result. The more we stay congested up here, the more those stop losses accumulate, the more drastic a fall can be. And at this present point in time, looking at how this is playing out, even from this perspective, this looks like a huge bit of manipulation to trick people into buying before a potential rollover as well. So what you need to really be doing when you're looking at the market in this manner, let's push this back up to the wick over there. We can see the push, wicks, candle bodies respecting. I cannot wait to see this monthly candle closure because a lot can change quite quickly. 3-month perspective as well, we are currently just maintaining these levels. There isn't much of a bullish sign in the market for me right now personally. And if you did flip this upside down, you can see again how this has all just been playing out absolutely beautifully. I believe it was this wick to wick trend line as well, which has come through and been respected perfectly. If we mirror this over here, pushing through, price is at a boiling point. Now we can easily come back into this territory and take it out one more time. But again, go to that monthly, and at the moment, there isn't much of a bullish sign. When you flip it in this perspective, you would be expecting some form of a potential reversal if price respected this area. And at that very point in time, despite that threatening 72, 76k region, it could just leave another wick. And that's why anything around this territory at the moment is heavily concerning. And this is again why taking profits is absolutely crucial, because everyone would be expecting a retest of this support coming into retest, which is looking like it's going to come through very soon. However, I believe there could be a rather vicious spike coming through this level as well to trick people. And if that is to be the case, if we actually break lower, there's nothing stopping this going back to 30k, to be honest with you as well. If you do understand, if we go back to 30k, the likelihood of it holding this time is not very strong, because again, stop loss is below this level. There is no real support until we get to 20k. Even then, liquidations galore, because everyone's been accumulating here. Now, if this is to be the case and we do break lower, we also need to understand this could lead to a potential wipeout, a retest of this trend line, and this could then take us down in essence as well. So at the moment, I am very, very cautious, and I'm glad I've taken some money off the table because it could absolutely surprise us. Now, Ethereum is back at all-time highs. Now, I feel we need to see some form of movement down to kind of clarify that this is going to be confirmed. And because Ethereum's now pushed up into this territory, it does increase that possibility that BTC could be doing the same thing. But if this ends up just wiping down out of nowhere, the monthly on Ethereum at the moment, the main focus for this, personally, is seeing how this closes. And this is why we're patient. I don't care for the daily, the 4 hour. You saw a bullish spike just there, it's reversed back down. But if you go to the weekly, you can see we've had an evening star formation. We've manipulated the high. We saw the breakout that got all the buyers in. We saw the wipeout, pull back down. Now we're simply retesting this level. And again, with the current Fibonacci, that does take us down if this maintains. So if this monthly, in particular, closes back down below this level, we are going to see a much stronger sign of a potential market reversal coming into place. You just want to be very, very careful. And something that I always say is, number one, the BTC dominance as well. We could just be teasing this level. And if the BTC dominance comes back into this trend line, something I've been waiting for a while now, and if this dominance does come back into this particular territory, retesting support at the moment on the monthly, if this pushes back towards that 47-48% dominance and BTC goes down, we can see how that may potentially drag a lot of coins down with it, because everyone's expecting alt season, but a lot of them have already achieved similar returns to BTC, and that's what people I think are often forgetting at this present point in time. So I did cover yesterday with the members as well. I would quite like to see this fulfilled to provide a much stronger movement on that BTC dominance. And we also have a gap on the CME futures chart at $55,000. Nothing too significant. However, from this 4 hour perspective, we can also see this trend line over here has been broken. So it could just lead to another rollover into that $55,000 region, just short term, before we can potentially consider some upside. But what people need to realize is it doesn't mean we are going into a bear market. It looks very, very likely. However, if you do just kind of take this into consideration for a second, there is an overall larger Fibonacci at play. So what I'm trying to say is you want to be realistic. I'm never going to be that person that says we're going to 100k, because there is no technical above this high that tells you we're going to 100k. Now, I'm never going to be the guy that starts screaming we're going here, we're going there to get followers or likes, because that's not how things work. And all of these people, when you see these influencers telling you, you know, XRP $50 next month, or XRP is confirmed. No, it's not. Nothing is confirmed. And these people that constantly get you to buy every single dip, I guarantee you they're not even buying themselves. They're just getting you into worse drawdown. And you've got to realize at this point in time as well, nobody really knows what's going to happen next. And I'll be the first to admit that. So we have to use the signs we have. And if we are going to go higher, there are technicals here that show how we may be able to go higher. But before that happens, we need to maybe see this come in to get filled as well around these levels of interest, where BTC could simply retrace much deeper. Because we're in this territory, everyone's buying, and I feel we need to wipe these buyers out quite significantly. And if that's to be the case, we could easily just bounce back down to this level and then continue higher from there onwards, and that may cause the altcoin rally to come into play. But even in this scenario where price may go higher, because overall we are trending higher, so we can't disregard this. You know, you've got 87k there, 76k, and I can confidently say we may be able to go up there because there's a Fibonacci proposing this. Anything above $87,000, there is nothing there to present such a situation. So we need to take what's available to us. Anything above here is guessing. There's no price action, so people would just be making that up. So we need to look at this at the moment, and it does look like there could be a sign of weakness coming in. Now, if Ether does hold, at the moment it does look like that's going to be the case. We have rejected the level I covered to the members perfectly. And if this does pull down, well, yeah, then we can see that if BTC does come back up, it could do the same thing around that 66, 67k region. But at this current point in time, it's not looking very, very good. And especially before that monthly closes, imagine if what we just saw today on Ethereum was a huge form of manipulation before it potentially dumps back down, closing below this level. So at the moment, if we do close above on the monthly, we're more optimistic to see that upside. But there isn't too much Fibonacci-wise either to tell us where this may go. One thing we had covered was around $5,200, and the reason being for that is there's a trend line here. And again, this is the best we can do right now to understand where it may push up to. Above that, there isn't too much really in our favor. We can also see we have rejected the trend line 3 times over here as well. So if we do come back in for another retest, there's a nice little confluence around here. But besides that, it doesn't look that good at the moment, and it could just be a huge form of trickery. If we go over to LTC, it does look like we are kind of peaking at the moment, and that's what's concerning me, because these monthly timeframes are showing us we have seen a significant rally already. We've taken out the highs, we've now dumped, and to the best of my knowledge, we have just pinpoint tapped that 61.8% as well, which takes us back down to $20, which is actually the bear market target I gave to everyone in advance before this all happened. Now we've pinpoint hit the levels that have been covered. To the members as well, I gave the $180 to $170 region as a target on the 15th of November. If you guys follow us on Instagram, you would have seen loads of calls like Trias, Bet, HBAR, all of these downside targets that have recently come through. We called them around the 15th of November. And now that these have come through, it's actually concerning me that this could be a situation where these coins are just simply respecting short-term and intraday levels of support and resistance. And if this is to be the case, we can see this rolling over to the downside as well, where I am heavily concerned if BTC does drop towards 40k, there is a possibility for these altcoins to see some form of wipeout before a continuation higher. Now, it doesn't mean it's over for these coins, but it does increase a possibility we need to maybe see some form of wipeout first before kind of dictating where we could be heading next in the market. So if we go over to XRP, the monthly first and foremost, now we understand it's actually done what BTC has already done. There's a major Fibonacci here in play, and this is what I've covered in advance. A, B, C. We have held this level and the candle bodies have not broken above $1.2. Something quite frustrating, however, I don't really have any regrets at the moment, is whilst I was on holiday, I gave the $1.4 region as a sell limit. However, I didn't want to jump the gun because I'd only sold at around 1.25. I then gave 1.3, which also rejected perfectly. However, looking in retrospect, it's not worth taking the profits here because I just want to wait for the right moment. And at this current point in time, whilst we do have some overall larger Fibonacci's in play, there are downside fibs that are constantly being respected. And if we look at this overall fib at the moment, this leads us down to my downside targets of 20 to 10 cents. So at the moment, this is essentially in play. And then if we get rid of this Fibonacci after marking out this level, also look at the perfect confluence of this level with the prior lows as well on this Fibonacci target. So this makes 20 to 10 cents incredibly valid. And anyone that disregard this, as I've said in every cycle where the same has happened over time, doesn't happen immediately, but I am taking my money out in preparation for this, because if and when it does happen, I am prepared and I'm going to benefit greatly from this, the same way we benefited greatly here with the 20 cents play that we gave to all of you in advance. And it's, this is for anyone here that does maybe troll, or you say, this is wrong, this is that. You don't have to watch these videos and you don't have to take this advice. However, when that time comes, if you have not prepared, then you're going to be like 99% of other people and be in significant drawdown and not in a good position to utilize the true dips. These are not good enough dips. This is not a dip to me. I like to see real swings, real dips. That can be considered a dip. Now, if we go and continue in the sequence of the Fibonacci, there is also the A, B, C, D. That takes us down to 50 cents. Now, if we can see a shakeout down towards 50 cents, I'm going to put in about another 100k just in case, because number one, we've sold at 1.25. So if we do go back down to these levels, it's a no-brainer to at least put 50k back in, because the goal here is to accumulate my holdings. And this is why we have shown this step by step. And if anyone has been following this step by step, you will have grown your holdings. And at the same time, if you haven't been doing this properly, you'll be holding the same sort of holdings that we've given, that we bought initially in March 2020, but we've also got over that in profit. So now we've got the same holdings regardless, but we've got that profit there to utilize at the right moment. And this is what I'm really trying to make clear. Another thing to throw out as well is this pop-up today. Now, XMR has now been banned from trading on Kraken, and it kind of just rings the bell of what I've been saying. These institutions, these governments, they are in control. Yes, it's a privacy coin. Yes, you can still trade it elsewhere, but they are in control. And the message here is, if they want to stop you using it, they can. So do not think you're invincible for using BTC. Don't go down that route of saying the governments can't stop us, because they absolutely can. And my biggest concern at the moment is what is happening around these prices, where everyone's buying, everyone's expecting alt season. We also kind of expected the same in every cycle, 2017, 2019. And it's often when you least expect it, something quite drastic happens. And at this moment in time, I'm not seeing those real bullish indicators, because the market is breaking structure. Yes, it is overall climbing higher, but we've seen a significant rally. And what I'm kind of hoping for here is if we do see a shakeout of some form, especially on XRP, coming into this 50 cents floor one more time, we may just form a double bottom to then see a much larger rally coming into play. There are several hurdles in the way as well. We've got a huge trend line up here. So what we're doing at the moment, if we go back to Kraken, because we sold here, I am either waiting for $2 plus to take more profit, and this is the situation I want you guys in. If you've taken that profit off the table, you just sit there and do nothing. Because now, I don't care if it goes down, I will reinvest. If it goes up, I will take more profits out. And this is that situation you should be in. You want to be playing the market and not chasing it. Whilst everyone's, leverage trading, margin trading, doing all sorts of madness trying to make money, I'm simply just waiting for that right moment, because the higher we go and the more we remain at this kind of territory, the bigger the risk is of a huge shakeout. And we do not want to be caught in that potential shakeout in the process as well. Now, that is another good example. The way this is currently dropping, I wouldn't be surprised if this just absolutely bottoms out. And some of the coins I'm going to show you now, if you are holding these kind of coins, when you see them going to the highs, you shouldn't be greedy and expecting more. You should be looking to take profits. This is a profit-taking market right now. This is not a buying market. If you go over to Solana, now this is something I covered to the members as well. We have seen the spike. We have seen the final drive potentially sucking in the buyers yet again. We have now closed back below this level over here, rejecting at the moment. The monthly on Solana looks absolutely disgusting. And coins like this in particular, if you see a monthly closure like this, all you do is leave it on the monthly time frame, because any form of movement higher could end up being another wick, and then this could end up rolling down. Because we have not retested any of this floor, again, I would never buy this at such a price anyway without historical price action, but this for me is just screaming, coming back down to below 140 to 130 and eventually coming back to the bottom. And these ones that are currently pumping, at the moment, we have got this 61.8. Want to be very, very careful, because shorter term levels of support and resistance are being respected right now. If we look at the trend line over here, it's currently respecting that as well. So if we break above, we could potentially look at more upside on this pair, but I am just very concerned at the moment. These are on the brink of some form of meltdown, some form of surprising meltdown. And realistically, coming back down to the 140, 130 floor is nothing drastic, because this pair has pretty much done nothing but go up. But you need to understand, you shouldn't really be looking to buy coins at these prices. I mean, even if you believe it's going to go higher, this is the same with the Dogecoin hype, the Shiba hype, the SafeMoon hype. I warned you guys about these coins. Do not buy them at the highs. If anything, something like Solana, I look at this and go, perfect. This has gone up to $260. If this drops all the way back down to the bottom, and never say never. A lot of people say we will never see these prices again. It will never happen. If you're in that mentality already, you're very likely going to be in that statistic of people that fail in the long run, because you have to be open to anything. And this is what it's all about. We give projections. The same as BTC. When BTC didn't work out, as an example, when it didn't come from here, I didn't short, I didn't long, I just left it and waited. and you adjust. This is what it's about. You know, everyone will make mistakes, everyone will lose trades, but it's down to us to dictate with our risk to reward and our actions on how severe those mistakes will be. Anyone that tells you they do not make mistakes and they're 100% accurate is lying blatantly. You will never be 100% perfect, and you need to factor that into your trading plan and understand that if it does not work out in your favor, simply recalculate and adjust. And this is also the benefit of taking profits, because if something doesn't work out, you have that safety barrier sitting there comfortably. And I'm just very concerned about these coins at the moment. There could just be a huge rollover at any given moment. This is not a buy to me. If you've caught this coin at the end of the day and you are up at these prices, it should be profit taking on your mind. That is a crazy amount of money and a crazy amount of percentage returns to be making in comparison to traditional markets. So, you know, if you are holding these coins, just maybe consider, it is a bit sus around these levels. You know, you may want to consider taking something off. And the same goes for DOT. Monthly time frame, rejections on rejections on rejections, and everything is being respected. The wicks over here respected. No candle bodies have breached this level, which do indicate, especially with the parachain hype, we got into one of the coins in anticipation of the parachain hype as well. We saw some great returns. It done like 300, 400%. However, it's pulled back as well. And the same goes for some of the other coins. We've got metaverse coins from months ago, before the metaverse hype even began. We gave these to the members in anticipation of these situations. But you have to realize when that stuff happens, we saw the pump during the parachain hype on Polkadot, and we pulled back down because people will be buying off that hype, and we do not want to be buying anywhere near an all-time high. Your goal is to invest as far away from those all-time highs as possible. And if price is then breaching an all-time high in unknown territory, you should not even be thinking about buying. Now, judging from how this is currently working, even a simple FIP can tell you at the moment, perfect candle bodies over there as well. It may just drive up, if it does come up higher into this territory. This is where the beautiful monthly comes into play again. All we see is wicks. So any form of 4-hour or daily movement could just be gearing up for a simple retest to potentially roll over as well. There's a lot more signs that are pointing to a potential move down. Again, weekly, this Fibonacci alone takes us back down to that base, which mirrors what we see on some of the other coins as well. We can also see another very sexy trend line being formed. If this just drives up and taps into this level, I don't even know if it will hit the 78.6, but looking at around this level, it's broken support. So this could be a simple retest to potentially roll over. So I'm just very skeptical of this alt season at the moment, because coins that have already kind of peaked at the highs, they pose a much bigger threat. And I'm just very concerned these coins may just be driving up one more time to then inevitably roll over. Now, let me just quickly see what BTC is doing at this very point in time, because what would be ideal in such a situation is if we can now see Ethereum roll over and this does come into the head and shoulders region. This will be perfect, because this fear and greed index is not nice for me. I want it to show extreme greed, because greed is where the biggest wipeouts and the biggest pain occurs. The more greed we have in the market, the more likely we are to then roll over in a very sudden manner as well. And if we can use Cadena as another good example, I've warned the members about this. This happened with ADA as well. When a support floor looks too perfect, it's very likely a lot of people are accumulating around these levels. Now, the risk to reward, let's use the risk to reward tool as an example. The high is there, so you have a clear target. Anything above here, you're guessing. So do not guess and invest anywhere for the sake of it. The bottom is down here. Now, despite what people say that it's impossible, it's absolutely possible. And my biggest concern at the moment is Cadena could easily come back down to $8 to $6, and that's the current region I'm looking at. Whilst most people are probably looking to buy here, if you get a breakout and a confirmation, granted, you can look for a retest and then consider maybe buying some. But the risk to reward here is absolutely atrocious. That's your clear given target, and downside, that's over there. So it's less than 1 to 0 risk to reward. So that is an incredible risk for me to be investing at these prices, considering, like Solana, it hasn't really come back down yet. And with these coins that have far exceeded expectations, this trend line alone is showing there could be a huge wipeout out of nowhere that takes this back number one to $10 and potentially down again. Now, if you've managed to hold out, number one, if you're holding this coin, profit taking should be on your mind. If you see this movement down, you can reinvest profits. This is the goal and the message we're trying to portray here. Now, the final one we'll cover is SANDS. This is something that the members have also requested as well, especially during the metaverse hype. Absolutely exploded. Now, would I buy this coin? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We've made a high. Look at that weekly. Why would you buy there? Maybe it will go higher, maybe it will double, but is it worth that risk of trying to get to $12 at this price, or even $13, $14 for the sake of doing 100 times? I would rather wait to see. Now I've seen such a beautiful movement on a coin like this. If it came down to the bottom and it came into the cents again, happy days, I'll buy. And that's kind of what we need to look at here. A dollar has not been retested ever since. So what this means is at a later date in time, price can easily reverse to this level. And these coins potentially dumping is a very good sign, because what we could be seeing is profits being taken out of these larger coins like Solana, Cardano, once they're done with whatever the hell they're doing at the moment. And if these do manage to come back down, we know those whales, those institutions, those larger players will be taking a significant amount of profit out of the market. And once that potentially pushes down some of the other altcoins, it increases the probability of seeing those profits shifted into these coins, which are much, much lower as well. So I hope this has made good sense. Another thing to mention as well, we obviously provide a lot of on-chain analysis with the members. I don't do this publicly too much, but something you need to look at very quickly is the BTC realized profit. Now, we have seen a considerable surge in realized profits on BTC. That is often a telltale sign in advance that larger players are getting out of the market ahead of time. The recent news we've seen, MicroStrategy have just bought more BTC. Well, it does provide a good possibility for another dip, but at the end of the day, these are just institutions. Doesn't mean they can control the market. Some of these entities, these ETFs, these funds, they are simply competing with one another. They are just looking to make money. It doesn't mean they necessarily know what's going on. They could just be trying to generate profits for their customers. It doesn't mean they're experts. A lot of these funds eventually lose in the long run as well. But you need to realize someone that's buying thousands of BTC, same as Elon Musk, they do not need, and they can also hold drawdown as well, because they will just accumulate more. They have the liquidity, they have the pockets, the deep, deep pockets to accumulate if prices drop lower. And normally when you see the news that an institution or a large player is buying, you normally want to do the opposite, because they don't mind holding. But if you get involved and go all in, you could suffer much more drastic consequences that they will not be suffering. It's just something to kind of take into consideration as well. But more importantly, I hope you guys have enjoyed this breakdown. I'm going to be doing this more frequently from now on. Again, whether there's hate or not, I don't really care, because at the end of the day, we are showing that we are real here. Not everyone shows you this side of things, but just want to show you, everything's the same. I want you guys to realize we haven't done anything sneaky behind the scenes, because we've promised if any move we make on this, once we've done it and the members have been notified first, you guys will be notified straight after as well. So I hope this has been a valuable breakdown for you guys. I've actually really missed doing these as well for all of you, so I'm looking forward to doing more. Plus Bernie will be doing the Forex side of things as well, so there's a lot to get back to and catch up on. But anything changes in the market or anything you guys want, please just let us know in the comments, and we'll happily go back and do anything else you guys require as well. So hope you guys have enjoyed. Have a great evening, and we'll be catching up very, very soon.